Hello everyone and welcome back, and today I'm going to welcome you in my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make braided cinnamon buns, and that's one of my husband's favorite. It's a new recipe that I'm trying out, and as you can see right now I'm just getting everything on the table that I need and getting ready for the recipe. So I'm going to put on my apron because I am a messy baker, and I got everything on the table that we need for this recipe. So we have flour that we need, brown sugar, and we need eggs, some milk and yeast, and some cinnamon, sugar, and some oil, butter, and salt. So we've got everything now together. Okay, let's get going. I warmed up 1 cup of milk. I'll put that in the bowl first. And then we're going to put the egg. We need 1 egg into the bowl. And some went in the other bowl. And now we're going to mix that together. I'm just going to take a fork for now and mix a little bit together here. And now we're going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar. I have measured out here. And mix it all together. You can take a whisk, of course. And 2 teaspoons of yeast. I have this dried active yeast. There we go. And stir that up a little bit. And now we're going to add flour, 320 grams of flour. We're going to mix in here like that. I'm going to mix it in slowly. We're just going to put in half, and then we're going to add some warm butter. I use unsalted butter. So I turned to my fancy wooden spoon here, and I'm stirring and letting the yeast activate. In the meantime, I warmed up 3 tablespoons of butter, which is like 100 grams of butter. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of butter right now, and then I'm going to add some more flour and put some more flour in there and stir. And add then more butter there to mix it in nicely. I'm going to add more flour. I'll just add the rest of the flour. The flour was again 320 grams. And I'm going to add the salt. It's a teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to put that in there and add the rest of the butter. And then I'm going to stir that really well, and when it gets into a nice substance, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see how that looks there? So now I took my spatula and scraped the sides and just to put it all together. So in my opinion, this dough here is too moist, but I'm going to let it sit for an hour. I'm going to cover it up with cellophane and let it sit and grow for an hour, and then we're going to take it out and work with it again. Okay everyone, an hour has passed and you can see the dough has risen nicely. I'll show this to you. It's twice the size. But we're going to add some more flour. But before that, we're going to make the cinnamon and sugar and butter mixture together. You need a tablespoon of cinnamon and 50 grams of soft unsalted butter and a half a cup of sugar. And we're going to mix that nicely together. First I'm going to put the butter in, and the sugar and then the cinnamon, and take my fork and mix that all together until it is like a paste. So now I'm going to start to finish the dough here. I measured 60 grams of flour, which is half a cup of flour, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on top because it's very, very moist, and I won't be able to work with it when it is too moist. So I'm sure I'm going to need the whole half cup here. So we can add that to the recipe at the beginning normally. Maybe we need even more because, yeah, I won't be able to put it on the counter when it is so moist. So this is the way it should look like, that you can handle it, and it's very soft and flexible, and now we can roll this out nicely. So I put some flour on the counter and on the rolling pin here, and I'm just turning it around and working it with my fingers first, and I'm going to roll this out in like a long rectangular piece, and it's working nicely. So I roll it out to make it nice and thin. It's working good. So it looks very good and it's lifting easily. So now I can spread the paste on here. So here's my paste already, and just taking a butter knife and just going to spread that all over the place here from one end to the other. I'm pretty sure I have enough paste. It looks like enough anyways. So the instructions now are to flip a third over this way and then that way. Let's see if it works out. Yeah, the dough is doing good. Like that. Okay. And now the other side, flip over like that. There. So it says to take the rolling pin and go over it a little bit like that. I guess to make it a little more even. So now the fun part, here comes the fun part, to divide it into, it says 12 pieces. I don't know if I'll get 12 pieces here, but I'm just going to take this butter knife because I don't want to scratch my counter, and I'm going to start here and cut through the dough and see what I come up with. I have 10 pieces. That means I'm only going to get 10 cinnamon buns. Okay, now the next thing that I'm supposed to do is cut now each of these 10 pieces in half again, like that. And then the fun part is to braid it and then bake it. Well, not bake it. It's going to sit first of all for at least a half an hour before it gets baking because it has to rise again. So that one's too thick. The middle is a little bit thick here. Let's make some more room here. So you can use parchment paper on your pan, margarine, butter, or oil, but I'm going to use this margarine here. It works good for me. Everyone has a preference, but yeah, I like using the margarine. So that's all done. Now, here comes the fun part. This is the first time I've been using this recipe. Apparently, you stick it together like that, and then you twist it like that, and then you sort of like turn it around like that and then put it on there. Actually, that doesn't look too bad at all. I'm very surprised. So I guess you can pull it a little bit. So attach the end, press my thumb, and then I'm just gonna braid it like this and attach it with my fingers, turn it around and press on it so it's attached like that. There. As you can see, I finished it and it was easy to work with. I'm impressed with this recipe and how the dough worked. So now I'm preheating my oven just to 100 degrees, not more. And then I'm going to put the tray in the oven just to rise for another half an hour. Well, the cinnamon buns are looking very good. They have risen some more in the past half an hour. And now I'm setting my oven at 360 for 20 minutes. So they're going to bake now in the oven. Now I'm going to check and see if the cinnamon buns are ready to come out. And they look golden brown, and that's the way they're supposed to look. Actually, they look very delicious. I'm just going to put the cinnamon buns on a rack so they'll cool down a little faster. I'm actually anxious to try the first one. So I think I'm going to take one, cut it in half, and see how that tastes. It looks great. And it is really nice in the inside. So of course you can put icing sugar or powdered sugar on top, and some people even put a yellow egg on top before they do the final baking. So now I'm going to try it. It has a good taste. It's not too sweet. Of course, I didn't put any icing sugar on top, but I really like it, and I think I would make these again. So, honey, would you like to try your cinnamon bun?
It's not my cinnamon bun, it's your cinnamon bun. You made it.
Okay, would you try it and tell me what you think?
Okay, oh, it's nice and warm. Now, let's see.
It's fresh.
Tastes good, honey.
There's no icing sugar on top, so it's not too sweet, right?
Good the way it is.
Fantastic. I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so.